All right, it looks like we're recording.
Yes.
All righty. Thank you, Dr. Burchell, for that introduction and welcoming into our session today. And on behalf of myself, welcome everybody. As Dr. Burchell stated, I am the Academic Program Director for the DBA program. Been in this role since September of 2020. Excuse me, been with CSU about nearing about 10 years right now. I currently live in San Diego, so this is quite early for me here, 7 a.m. But that's okay. I'll have my whole day in front of me then. And I'm originally a transplant from Wisconsin and Illinois areas. So while I do live in the warmth now, I do know what cold is as well. Been there most of my life. So that's a little bit about me. You will probably run across me as you go through the program with a variety of different things, from assigning of the chair and, random things here and there. Most of the time, Dr. Burchell, Dr. Tucker, Dr. Corcoran will handle the majority of the things for you from the standpoint of leadership, but I do get involved with some things along the way. So what I want to talk to you today a little bit about, if you can pop the slides, Jodine. You can probably go to the next one. Yes. Okay. Actually go back to the other one first. I'm sorry. Okay. What I'm going to talk to you about is the milestones and the chair selection. And these are two things that 150% students ask me from the day they walk into the program. And I think it's honestly because, the dissertation is a critical part of your journey. Or applied dissertation or project, whatever your particular doctoral program is asking for. In the case of DBA, we do an applied dissertation here. So it is something you're curious about. While you're not starting it today, it is something that, you'll need to start thinking about. The earlier, the faster, the better, for sure. Okay, go ahead and go to the next slide, please. All right, so I'm going to start off with a little bit of a discussion on the dissertation courses. All right, so you're going to get through your 15, or you mostly have gotten through your 15 didactic courses, and you're nearing the point at which you're going to start the applied dissertation. So here we are. These are the 15 dissertation courses, and as you can see, they are lined with different sections of the applied dissertation. Purposely so, because within each one of these 1-credit courses, you will see resources available to you. So when you're working on, for instance, DST 9104 on chapter 2, you're going to see resources to help you in that particular class, to help you with that particular section of your dissertation. You will move through these classes one by one in numerical order. The idea is that you will start with 01 and complete with 15 and complete your oral defense. You're going to hear about every single one of these sections today during your day. 100%. We have 9 or 10 faculty that are in here, plus Dr. Burchell, which will be discussing each section of these dissertation courses. You will progress through one at a time if you want, okay, which means that this will take 15 terms. If you want to speed it up, you can do 2 at a time. And this happens more often than not. Particularly once we get past IRB approval, we have seen that students tend to do, for instance, we have for collecting data, as you can see here, DST 9109 and 9108 are both for collecting data. So we're saying that we're allowing 16 weeks, 2 terms to complete that. You might look at that and say, I can do that in 8 weeks. Okay. So what does this do for you? Obviously, it doesn't save you any money because you're still paying for the 1-credit course, but it speeds you up. You're going to finish faster. So students get to choose how fast they are going to progress through. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that with milestone charts. Let's see here. The more you take, the more you finish, the faster you finish. Okay, and how this works is 2 weeks before the end of the term, your chair and you collaborate. And you might say, okay, let's just give an idea here. Let's say you're on DST 9106 right now, and you're finishing chapter 3, and you look at it and you say, you know what, Dr. Chair, I can do more than IRB approval in the next term. So I want to do IRB approval and start collecting data. So I would like to sign up for 9107 and 9108. Okay, your chair, and you discuss it. Your chair will let you know, indicate to you exactly what's involved with that. So you go into it with eyes wide open. And then your chair will let Michelle Conway know. And that's how you will proceed through this. It's 100% collaboration between you and your chair. At the end of the day, this is your dissertation and you have to decide how quickly you want to do it. Now, if you decide you get here and you do want to do one at a time, remember that is 15 terms. So that is at least 2 years for this, okay? You can finish it a lot faster than that. Okay. All right, that's actually 3 years, but all right, next slide, please. All right, one of the questions that always comes up, I'm going to talk about milestones in the next slide, but one of the questions that always comes up is who is assigned? How do I get a chair? Can I select the chair? No, I'm the one who will do that, and I'm going to explain to you why. First of all, I'm going to start off with what is the role of the chair? The role of the chair is to work with you continuously. Every week you will be talking to your chair in one degree or another. I ask them to provide clear direction and explanation through each step of the process. I ask them to keep track of what your milestone chart is, and I ask them to advocate for you. And all of our chairs, we have excellent chairs, and they will provide all of these things to you. Okay. What is the role of the committee? You'll also be assigned a committee. They support the chair. And notice I don't say support you, they support the chair. So chair will bring in the committee whenever they need assistance. They are a voting member of the oral defense team, and the chair might just be questioning something that's in your study, and the chair might take it over to the committee for question. If there is, and I'm sure many of you have heard this in the past with other institutions where your chair and your committee don't agree on something, okay, that's part of academia. And if that ever happens, first of all, it very rarely happens here at CSU. But if it ever happens, the chair wins. So you're never going to be the middle person on your study ever. And I can speak to that because when I did my study many years ago, that happened to me. So I'm very, very passionate about that. We need to have one voice coming to you guys, okay? And that is going to be your chair with the support of the committee person. All right, so what's the role of you? Weekly communications, weekly communications, weekly communications. All right, I can't say that enough times. We absolutely have to have you communicating with your chair every week. It could be a 5-minute meeting. The students that get done the fastest are the ones who set up a regular meeting with their chair every week on the dime, okay? Now, you could meet for 5 minutes, and that's all you need to do that week. Or it could be a full hour, could be longer, depending. It all depends upon where you are at and what you need. But I will 100% tell you that the best and the fastest and the most efficient students are the ones that sign up for that weekly meeting with their chair and get it on the calendar. And we ask you follow through on all deadlines as provided by the chair and attend all scheduled meetings. Okay, I don't want to see my chairs running around circles. I want to see them helping you guys. So if we've had students that aren't making their meetings, that's an issue for me. Submission to all DST classroom in units 1, 4, 6, and 8. You'll understand that more when the time gets here. When you are assigned a chair, you literally are provided a document that tells you when to submit and what to submit in each one of those 1-credit DST courses. And then the last thing here, trust your chair. Okay, trust them. There will be times 100. I don't know anybody who has a doctorate, PhD that has not looked at their chair and said, "You're crazy." Okay, or why do I have to do that? That's part of the animal of a PhD, a doctorate degree. But I'm telling you, trust your chair, walk with your chair. Your chair has done this millions of times, has their own dissertation done, and will help you, will advocate with you. Trust your chair and walk alongside them. That's how you get this thing done. All right, who signs the chair? It is me. Many times, students will ask, well, why can't I choose the chair? Multiples of reasons. First of all, I go through quite a vetting process. I look at you as a student. I look at your work styles. I look at your grade point. I look at how quickly you've gotten through the didactic courses. I mean, there's a lot of things that we are doing. Also, now we're doing this thing called the PDMP, which you're going to learn about later in the day. It's a pre-dissertation mentorship program where you actually work with two of our faculty for 8 weeks free of charge, okay, before you start the DST courses, but also before you end your didactic courses. It's sort of an in-between thing. And it really jumpstarts you and gets you going. And those two faculty are also looking at you, and they know there are chairs. So they're collaborating with me and saying, for instance, Tom here, this is what we know about Tom. And we think that Dr. Burchill, for instance, might be a really good chair for him. And then I take that, I look at everything that's going on and, within our program, and I walk from there. The other piece of this is that I, of course, have to protect my faculty. I can't have one faculty that has 50 dissertation students and then one that has 10. So I've also got workloads to balance, and I know you can all understand that. I want to make sure that all of my faculty have equal opportunities as well as equal workloads. All right, questions on anything so far that I have covered?
We have a couple of questions in the chat.
Okay.
The first one, Seth asked, at what point can a student begin with DST 9101 prospectus?
Great question. Once you hit 50% of the way through the program, all right, and usually it's somewhere between 50 and 75. When I say the program, I mean the didactic courses. So if you've completed over 8, we tend towards 60 or 70%, but if it's over 8, you can become involved with the with the PDMP program. And again, that PDMP program is the first step into the DST courses. Once you roll through that PDMP, it's free. You work with Dr. Tucker and Dr. Corcoran for 1 term while you're working on your didactic courses. Okay, that's kind of what I just explained there. Once you finish that and you finish this, the residency here, and many of you have finished the Journeys course, excuse me, that's the point at which you will be wanting to start your DST courses. The advantage to doing the PDMP, it really jumpstarts you and gets you going. After you complete this residency here today, you will be put on a list and you'll receive an email from me, excuse me, offering you the opportunity to register for the PDMP for next term, which is 2B. So that will be an automatic. And again, that PDMP rolls you right into the DST courses. You can start them that term after if you would like, or if you'd like to wait a term, that's fine. Kind of depends upon where you're at with your didactic courses. The best scenario is to do the Journeys course, and then do the PDMP, and then roll right into the DST courses. The PDMP is amazing how far it gets you. I mean, you could complete almost a good percentage of your DST 9101 during the PDMP. I mean, it's amazing how fast they move you through. So that is, and again, you'll get an invitation from me on that in 2 weeks, either yay or nay. And then the PDMP mentors would reach out to you and you would work with them basically next term. Long answer to your question.
Okay, and Tom, thank you. He says the 8-week pre-dissertation is fantastic. It really brings definition and focus to the process.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. And I didn't pay him to say that, guys.
Yeah. Okay. And Christina says, how and when do you start meeting with the chair?
So what'll happen is, assuming that you go for the PDMP, at the end of the PDMP term, which let's just say you do that in 2B. So at the end of 2B, the PDMP chairs, or the mentors, I should say, and myself, we get together, we talk, I look at your history, your background, and then you'll receive an email that will assign your chair and committee person. And from that moment on, you will be working with your chair. So it's kind of a step-by-step process. This dissertation, or excuse me, residency today is the first step in the journey. And like I said, in 2 weeks, you'll get my email and you'll just roll right into it.
Okay, that was all the questions and
That's all?
comments.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Feel free to continue those questions. I love questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I didn't say this before, but you can raise your hand as well if you don't want to type it out into the chat box. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, next slide. Yep. Okay. Milestone charts. I've mentioned this a couple of times. Basically, I'm going to read off the slide here, which I hate doing, but I'm going to do it. The purpose of the milestones and milestone chart is to provide you with a roadmap to success, enabling you to understand when you will finish, what you need to do, and what you need to accomplish at each stage in the process. That just nails it. Okay. That is what you will use. It's really a tool to ensure that you're on track. It ensures you and ensures your chair, your committee, everybody, okay, and me, because I'm looking at reports that are taking you through your milestones. You get to choose. You get to choose which milestone chart you want. I'm going to show you one of those. Basically, how this works operationally is that you're going to meet with your chair on the first, after you receive that email from me that assigns your chair, and then you're going to select either 18, 24, or 30-month milestone charts. And you're going to collaborate with your chair and you're going to register for your DST courses, kind of like I explained earlier, each term based upon your milestone chart. And again, let's just say you get halfway through and you decide, I'm done. I just want to finish this in the next 6 months. You can do that. Okay. You can speed it up. Or let's just say you get halfway through and you're going to have a baby. You found out you're going to have a baby. So now you need to slow it down. You can do that as well. What we do is we want to give you a guide to get you started so that you see an end date. You see an end goal. Okay. You have something that's there for you, which I think is super important, particularly in a journey like this. And then adjusting it. Yes, we're flexible. We can adjust. We have the means to do that. At the same time, as you adjust and say, okay, I only want to take one, your chair is going to say to you, great, okay, that's fine, I understand. But understand now that that means that instead of graduating in October of 24, you're going to graduate in October of 25. And that's, if you can shake your head and say, yep, I get that, we're golden. Okay. All right, next slide, please. I'm going to show you here an example. Okay, this is an example of an 18-month milestone chart. And as you can see across the top, the DST courses are across the top, 9101 all the way through 9115. And right below that in the gray, you'll see the tasks that need to be completed for each one of those DST courses, all the way across, much like the slide I showed earlier. Below that, the goal timeline. Now, this particular goal timeline is set up to 18 months because let's just use Trey as an example, decided that wanted the 18-month. So 2 months, 2 months, then you get over here to DST 9103 and 9104. And you can see that that's 2 courses being done in 1 term. Okay, and then onward, 9106 and 9105 and 6 are also the same way. Okay, so all the way across you can see, and this equals out to 18 months. And again, we have one that's for 24 and one that's for 30 months. Now, the 30-month is obviously going to be 1 DST course per term. And that means that you will theoretically complete in 30 months versus the 18 that we have here. Predominantly what we're seeing is many students are veering towards this 18. We also actually have a 12 as well, if you're really motivated. I've seen educators that have summers off that decide they might want to go less than this. This 18 months seems to be a very good flowing for the average person that's working full-time, has a family, has responsibilities, but yet it keeps you moving. 30 is a lot slower. 30 months is, it's a lot more time than 18, obviously. So, again, your choice, you get to choose, but this is one of the first things that as you sit down with your chair will say, what do you want to do? What's your thinking here? And then you will choose, and then you'll start with a milestone chart. And then again, you can be flexible with it, but this actually gives you a guide. Students like this too, because it tells them, okay, this is what I need to do in the next 8 weeks. So you have it right there in front of you. Any questions? Is there any questions on this? There always is questions on this. Any up there, Jodine?
I don't see any in the chat.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the milestone chart? One other thing I want to mention too, I'm going to use an example here. You're working on 9102, which is right chapter 1. And let's say you finish it. You're 6 weeks into the term and you finish it. Don't stop. Never stop. Okay. Absolutely 100% start working on chapter 2. Okay, because when you're in chat 9103, something might come up, your child might graduate or whatever. Okay. There's always life things that happen. So this is meant to be a continuous process. Keep it going, keep it flowing. I will tell you, like DST 9107 here, where it talks about the IRB approval, that does not take 8 weeks to do. And we've filtered it. You'll notice it's about 50% of the way through. But you can absolutely do that in a couple weeks. Absolutely, 100%. So, it is very easy to speed up and slow down, but the key is always keep working and never think, oh, I finished, I'm done, I got 2 weeks off. Don't ever go there. Those are the people that don't finish. Just keep it going, even if it's a small amount. If your life happens, and if you slow down a little bit, that's okay, but just always keep it in the forefront. The other thing too is,
Dr.
all right,
Jackie?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a question.
Okay.
What happens in the screen example where you want to collect all data within one term, but towards the end you discover you need more data? Do you just roll over into the next term for the same DST course? That's a great question. That is a great question. If you want to collect more data later, you can do that in, let's call it DST 9111. Okay. This is meant to be a continuous process here where all right, let's say you collect it 9108. So the next term you can literally, so if you collect all your data in one term here and you only signed up for 9108, the next term your faculty member will recommend that you take not only 9 because you're finished with collecting data, but also 10. But let's say in 10, you decide you want to go back and collect more data. Yeah, you can do that. This is a continuous process, but you're not going to go back and retake 9108. You're just going to keep going here is kind of the way the process works. Once you pass one of these DSTs, you're done. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you might not want to go back and collect some more data for whatever. It depends upon your study, of course. Very good question. Is there any other questions in there, Jodine? Dr. Burchell? No, I don't see any. Oh, okay. Is there a scenario where you pass all of these sections and somehow fail your defense?
I don't mean to laugh, but no, it's let me put it to you this way. Your chair is 100% your advocate, and they are not going to bring you to an oral defense you are not prepared for. They absolutely will not. They will not bring you to one that you're not prepared for. They will stop you before you get there and say, okay, you need to be doing this, this, and this. By the time you get to your oral defense, and if you've done everything that your chair has asked you to do, you will pass your defense, assuming that you show up and you are there for it, and you are, again, doing everything your chair asks. Really, honestly, our oral defenses are more oral presentations. You're presenting your research to myself, your committee, and your chair, and you are the expert at that point. That is a question that is asked a lot of much. That's why I chuckled when you asked that question.
Okay, and then Trey says, I only have one class left after this term, 9301. Then I'm supposed to start taking DST courses. Can I take 9301, 9101 along with the PDMP simultaneously? Another great question.
That is a very good question. So, and you're ready in 2B to take, is that what he is saying? In 2B, he's ready for 9101?
One class left after this term,
Okay,
9301. I assume that's the class that he has left. Trey, why
okay.
don't you come on camera,
Yes.
on microphone, and you can ask.
Yes, that's the
Oh,
I was always under the
Sure.
assumption that I had to finish all of
Didactic.
the yes courses before I started the DST. So that was my
Yeah.
schedule. So so yes, next semester I only have 9301 is the comprehensive exam, and then I'm finished. But
Okay, so let me answer that question. First of all, we do not have a comprehensive exam anymore. That's long
oh,
gone.
that's still on my roster.
Okay, so talk to Michelle Conway on Monday on that, okay? And she will tell
Okay.
you what the course is. Irregardless, you have another course to do, okay?
Okay.
But she can help you with that. But you're actually a perfect candidate. What you'll want to do is take that last didactic course and the PDMP, both
Okay.
next term. And then 2B, you will be ready for your first 9101 course. And you might be one of those that take, instead of just taking 9101 and 2B, you might want to take 2B 9102 as well. That happens as well. Some people that go through the PDMP might start with two courses in, their first. So again, the PDMP mentors will help you with all that, and you'll completely be on board with it. But you will get that email from me in 2 weeks. You're going to be one that is going to want to say, yes, let's go for this PDMP thing. And then you'll roll right in, and you will have no didactic courses to take as you're starting your DST.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a perfectly acceptable way. That's a little bit more of a traditional approach. But we do have some people that have 2 or 3 or 4 courses or even 5 courses left to take as they're rolling into the PDMP and DST courses.
Okay.
Either approach is good. Yeah.
very good. No
Any
more
other
questions in the
questions?
chat.
Okay. All right. Next slide, please. Okay. My last is more of a summary here. My recommendation, follow your milestones. Stick to those milestones, guys. I know life happens. I get it. I understand. I have a job. I raise 4 kids. I get all of it. All right. But you also registered for this program for a reason. You want a doctorate degree. And the longer you extend this dissertation process, the harder it gets. And I again, experience talking here. So figure out what your milestones are going to be with your chair, and stick to them as best you possibly can. Hold yourself accountable, hold yourself responsible, and keep yourself motivated. Your chair will help with all of this as well. Okay, that is how you complete. My goal is for every one of you to complete. That's what I want. I want to see you all walk across that stage. That is my end goal. And finally, this is not a quote of mine, but somebody said this to me one time and it resonated. So I hope it resonates with you like it has with me all these years. The best dissertation is the done dissertation. And that is so true. I do want quality, don't get me wrong, but more I want it done. I want you to complete. So with that is the end of my presentation. I want to wish you luck as you move through the final phases. You'll get that email from me in a couple of weeks. I hope that you all go for this PDMP. It's something that we have perfected. And again, you'll hear even more about it at the end of the day today. Dr. Tucker is one of them that is our mentor, but it is a really solid program and you will gain so much from it, and it's free. It's the best kind of charges, free, right? Also, you are going to hear about so many support services that we have to help you through your dissertation. I wish I would have had some of these when I was doing my dissertation. We have so many that use them, guys. Use them, use them, use them. You're paying for it through your through your tuition dollars. There, you know, so use them. And again, you're going to hear about them. They will help you. We have a statistician, Dr. White. He is phenomenal. Get on his research on, you know, course and just go for it, because we just have these resources for you. Our mantra here is go where the student is. So we have thoroughly researched what students need, and we want you guys to use our resources. So with that, if you have anything you need that anybody in the program is not helping you with, feel free to reach out to me. My door is always open. My email, darlene.jaffke. Just reach out to me and I will help you with whatever you need. And with that, unless there's questions, I will turn this back over to Dr. Burchill.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jaffe. Any final questions before we move on? Let's see who's next. Oh, that would be Brandon. Very good. Okay.
All right. Well, thank
so
you,
I'm
everybody.
Stop sharing. Thank you. I'm going to stop sharing so that Brandon can start sharing. Be sure to introduce yourself, Brandon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brandon Dorsett. I'm the doctoral writing coach here. Thanks for joining us on a Saturday, hanging out with us. I see some familiar faces and names here, so that's always good. My goal today, I'm trying to get this PowerPoint up. I've got it open on my screen, but it's not sharing. Let's see. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. You should be seeing it coming on now.
No worries.
All right. So my goal today, as a member of the DWRC, Doctoral Writing and Research Center, is to acquaint you with some of the resources we have available. As Dr. Jaffe said, CSU is very unique in the manner of how we treat our students and the support that we give them. I know a couple of the schools that I went to before tried to get me into their doctoral programs. And it's almost, in some places, it seems like a rite of passage to just be placed on an island and say, here's this dissertation and go do it. And that's not the way that CSU operates, thankfully, you guys and us. So our goal is to help you out in any way that we can and get you through the program as swiftly and efficiently as possible. So I talk to a lot of students, and we try to catch you guys when you enter the program. To let you know from day one what we offer. But if any of you guys aren't familiar with the DWRC, my role, Dr. White, Dr. Boyd, Dr. Cochran, Dr. Tucker, my goal today is to acquaint you with all those resources. So the good thing is, when you come in as a student, you're automatically enrolled in the Doctoral Writing and Research Center in Blackboard. It's our little corner of Blackboard where we hang out, post all of our resources, announcements. So if you're not already in there or haven't looked at it, go to search courses in Blackboard. You'll click on the little pop down that says all courses and just type in Doctoral Writing and Research Center, and will pop up, and you should be able to immediately enter there because you should already be enrolled. And if you have any questions about getting in, just contact me or anyone. Michelle Conway will have to get you in there if you're not already, but you should be. And if you have any trouble finding it in Blackboard, just send me an email or give me a call. We can walk you through it. All right. And also I want to say that if you haven't been in there in the last couple of months, we have redesigned it a little. So it's a little easier to find all of our resources. We've got a ton of things in there, from writing to research methodology to every single step of the applied dissertation process. So it answers a lot of your questions, and it has a lot of supplemental resources that can help you in ways that you might not have even known that you needed help. So that's my goal today, just make you aware of all that stuff. And if you haven't popped in there, just go in and see what's in there. You might find some interesting stuff. All right, so as Dr. Jaffe said, My role here, you don't have to pay me. I'm part of the package deal. So my goal is to assist you in writing. That's my area of expertise. I'm not a methodologist. We have methodologists, Dr. White for quantitative, Dr. Boyd for qualitative. So like I said, you have someone you can reach out to for any facet of this program, any skill set. Right? So what I do, there's 3 different methods that you can get in touch with me or ask for assistance from me. One, and the most common is students can send me an email with an attachment, and I'll review any type of writing that you face in this program. So any didactic assignment whatsoever, every dissertation chapter, leading up to single chapters all the way to the full dissertation. I can go in and take a look at it for you. The type of feedback I give, I concentrate on scholarly writing tone and techniques. As most of you guys already know, scholarly writing is different than academic writing in a lot of ways. And students come in and they get a little confused about the proper syntax, the proper wording, and all that. So I can help you with that. Of course, grammar, sentence structure, syntax, integrating outside sources into your writing, organization, logical consistency, everything APA. It's really sad to say, but I think I've memorized the APA handbook. So any questions like that, just reach out to me. You can give me a call, and or you can email me with just any question that you can think of. If you're doing an assignment and you run into something, say for example, for a citation or a reference for a certain source, just give me a call or reach out to me via email with those type of questions. And if I'm in the office, which I usually am, I'll get back to you the same day. So that's another way. And also, when a lot of times students will send me something to review, and I put comments with examples. We have a ton of resources in the DWRC. Our writing center here at CSU produces a lot of great resources. So I can hyperlink those within the comments, explain what's going on, give you examples. But if you need a little bit more help or a little bit more explanation, just reach out to me and we can set up a one-on-one meeting. I usually do that via Ring Central, but I'm open to Zoom or whatever kind of software you guys are more comfortable with. All right. So for the type of things I review, like I said, any piece of writing that you produce for CSU, I can help you with it. For the turnaround times right now, for didactic papers less than 10 pages, 2 days. I can normally get it back within 1 business day. For dissertation chapters, I ask for 3 to 4 days, and these are business days. I should have already mentioned that. Proposals, 5 to 7, and a full dissertation, 10 days. And if you have any questions when you submit it or after you submit it to me, if you forgot to add a little note or something, my door is always open. So contact me and we can talk through any of these questions you have or concerns as far as the writing goes. And here's my email. It's I've had a couple different emails because a lot of things have changed in the program for the better. Lately, we're taking in a lot of those students, and we're going to start even more programs in the future. So my DBA writing coach, which some of you have used in the past, it's still available too, but technically we've changed it to doctoral writing coach. So you can get in touch with me with doctoral writing coach if you still use the DBA. Don't worry, that still comes through too. And my extension here is 9078. And you can find all this information in the DWRC too. All right, the next thing I wanted to talk about, I spoke a little bit about Dr. White and Dr. Boyd a moment ago, our methodologists. And another thing that we offer students is what we call write-on and research-on sessions. And you can check the DWRC for the specific schedule, but we have it right here. So Dr. White is our quantitative expert. He conducts his sessions between 6 and 7 on Wednesday. That's Central Time. Let me tell you, I've popped in there, and there's great student engagement. He does a great job explaining some things that may intimidate you a little bit coming into the program. he makes it very user friendly. So great guy. He has great presentations, and every time I've ever been in there, 2 or 3 students ask him something very specific about their research, and he immediately gives them a great answer. And there's always great student discussion and engagement going on in there. So here's the list of his upcoming sessions. Can go through that, and again, all of this information is in the DWRC too. So we also have Dr. J.B. Boyd. He's our qualitative specialist, and he does the exact same thing with qualitative research. And he's a great resource, very knowledgeable, very friendly. His door's open. He welcomes students to contact him. Very knowledgeable about anything qualitative. And he's got some resources too in the DWRC. If you were interested at all at qualitative, go in there and check those out too. But his session is right after Dr. White's, 7 to 8 on Wednesdays. And last is me with the write-on sessions. So this last one that we did was about writing effective scholarly introductions. In a couple of weeks, we have integrating outside sources. I'm going to take the time here to go ahead and let you guys know, plug it a little bit. We're doing a webinar on August 10th, all about literature reviews. So anything from compiling your research, what to look for, critical reading, through different types of sources, organizing everything, matrices, and then the actual outlining and writing of the literature review. So we'll be covering a lot of things. It'll be me, Dr. Tucker, and Dr. Corcoran in there presenting that. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and mark that on your calendars, because I think it'll be helpful. I find that students are a little bit, they find literature reviews a little bit daunting when they start their dissertation. So our goal there is to kind of shed some light on it, and hopefully guide you through the process, and give you some tools as you enter that process of your dissertation. All right. And last, we have a great newsletter. It comes out the first Friday of every month. It's called Doctorate Rising. We have various faculty members who contribute articles. I contribute an article every month about academic writing. And it's a great place to find announcements and just know what's going on in the program, because we offer a lot of different things. We always have something going on. So that's another good way to get caught up on news. And we have a very good Facebook group, CSU doctoral students. There's a lot of students in there. It's not like some of these Facebook groups that institutions, organizations have. There's a lot of engagement, students talking to each other, our faculty's in there. So I find that very helpful too if you're on Facebook. And last but not least, in the DWRC, we're always posting new announcements. So anything going on, if you feel like you're kind of out of the loop for whatever reason, or just go in there and take a look. It's the first thing that you see under the introduction. So we'll keep you up to date on anything going on. So any questions, guys? I think that is it for me.
Yes, sir. There are, I just looked it up. There are 3 CSU doctoral student groups. So which one do I click on? There's a CSU doctoral students, or there's online doctoral students, or simply it states doctoral students. Do you know which one?
I believe it's CSU doctoral students. That got changed a little bit and just in the past week. So I'm not sure exactly which one that'll be. I think she labeled it just CSU doctoral students.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions for me, guys?
There's nothing in the chat, so we'll move on. Thank
All
you
right.
very much, Brandon. Thank you very
Sure.
much.
It was good seeing you guys, and best of luck. If you have any questions, concerns, just reach out to me.
Thanks, Brandon. Great to see you.
You too, Tom. Everyone have a good weekend.
You too. Okay, next up is Laura Roden from the library. Laura,
Good
be sure
morning.
that you introduce yourself and tell us about you.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Burchell. Good to see everyone today. Good to be here. I am Laura Roden, and I am a distance and instruction librarian here at CSU. And so today I'm going to show you some tools that'll be helpful for you in the library that can assist you on your research journey. So let me go ahead and I can share my screen here and get started with that. All right. So let's start by taking a look at the list of library tools that you'll need for your research journey. Our first item on the list is the CSU library, obviously, and we're going to discover how to access the library. We're going to take a tour and learn how to contact a librarian for help. Next, we'll go over the library's doctoral research guides, which contain other tools and tips that you may need as you journey on your research travels there. We'll also highlight recommended databases for your research, and we'll check off the last item on our list by discussing peer-reviewed sources and how to find those in the library. So our goal is to make sure that we have everything ready for you on your list here so that you're well prepared for your research journey ahead. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so here we are on the CSU Library homepage. And so you can access the library through the link in your My CSU student portal within your Blackboard course or through the library's direct link at columbiasouthern.edu/library. So the CSU Library homepage is the gateway to resources created and procured to assist you in your doctoral research journey. So at the top of the page, you'll find our FAQs, which include a section of doctoral related questions. So be sure and check those out. See what questions are there. They may actually answer some of the things that you may be wondering about. And beneath the FAQs is our Library Live webinar schedule. And we do schedule monthly webinars for doctoral students. So do check that out as well. And over here on the right side, you'll find ways to contact a librarian for help. Now, for quick questions, we do have librarians here in the chat box 24/7, 365 days a year. So anytime you have a quick question, just pop in there and there'll be a live librarian there to help you out. We also have other ways to contact us here. You can contact us by email and phone during our operating hours listed here. And you can also request a research appointment. Research appointments, we often encourage our doctoral students to actually request that because you guys usually research more in depth than some of our other students. So this is where you can have a one-on-one research session with the library. And we meet in Ring Central, kind of like what we'll do today, but one-on-one, and the librarian could show you how to find things in the library and assist you with your research in that way. So another place that you're going to want to look for on the library homepage that's very important is the doctoral resources section right here. Now, this section contains all of our resources that we've created for doctoral students. So if you click on that box there, and the very top link is the doctoral program's research guide. And everything that we created for doctoral students pretty much links from this guide. So we're going to take a look at that. So we'll go ahead and click on that and go into there. So again, this guide is our most important guide for doctoral students, as it includes all the information you're going to need and links out to different places. So I encourage you to explore this guide when you get a chance. I would suggest starting with our guides for doctoral students right here. When you look at those, you'll find different guides for different areas you may be researching. We have guides for business, we have guides for occupational safety and health, but we also have guides, just general guides about what you can find in the library for doctoral students, things like that. Now, on the left side of the page, after you've explored these guides, I would suggest looking at our doctoral research tools box over here. These guides can be especially helpful as you move into your dissertation research. So the doctoral research toolkit, the very top one on the list, includes information about finding dissertations, ebooks, and research methods. It also provides you with tools that you can use to document your library searches, as well as finding information on finding DOIs, using the library's publication finder to locate specific journals in the library, and organizing your research using library databases. Now, the How to Do Research Guide just beneath that is an introductory guide on research, and it takes you through all the steps in the research process from selecting a research topic to evaluating sources. The What Kind of Article Do I Need guide discusses different types of articles, such as peer-reviewed articles and articles from trade publications, and can help you decide which type of article to select for your research. And the last guide in that toolbox is empirical research, and it outlines this specific type of research, and it demonstrates how to find empirical articles in the library. Now, once you're ready to write and publish your dissertation, you can take a look at this guide at this link here. It includes ebooks on planning and writing the dissertation. It includes a list of dissertation abstracts by past doctoral students at CSU and information on how to publish your dissertation in print and online. And again, you'll find our webinar schedule here, the same one that we looked at back on the library homepage, just another link for that, where you can see what webinars that we're offering for doctoral students. Okay, so let's go back over to the library homepage, and we're going to take a look at some places that you can search from the library homepage. There are actually multiple ways here from which you can start your research. One way is just by typing your keywords into our discovery search box that you see here. Now, the discovery search box allows you to search many of our databases all at once, but you may get a more focused set of search results by choosing an individual database that aligns with your topic. So to select an individual database to search, you're going to click on the Databases button located here. And this is going to take us to an A to Z list of all the databases to which the library subscribes. And from there, you can use the titles and the brief descriptions that you see to choose a database in which to search. So let's discuss some of the specific databases, though, that may be most important to you as you do your doctoral research. The two of the largest business databases that we have in the library are called ABI Informed Collection and Business Source Ultimate. And these should be two of the first places that you look during the research process, especially for peer-reviewed articles. So this one would be ABI Informed Collection is located here. So that's the first one I would recommend. And if you go down to the bottom of the B section, you'll find Business Source Ultimate. Again, those are great places for those peer-reviewed articles that you may need for your literature reviews. Now, other business-related databases that may be helpful include Mergent Online. So we're going to just go up here, click on the M section, and Mergent Online, you'll find that there. And this is a great database to use if you're looking for information on specific companies. Another database that may be helpful in your research is called IBISWorld. And IBISWorld contains an extensive list of market research and industry reports. So that may be helpful if you need to encompass that type of research in what you're looking for. Now, you can find additional databases that may be useful for your research listed in the slides available for the presentation. So be sure and take a look at those when you get a chance. Now, we also subscribe to a number of databases that are not business focused, but they may also be useful to you as you search for information on related topics. Back in the A section, two of those are Academic OneFile and Academic Search Ultimate. Both of those are good general databases that cover a wide variety of topics, and those would also be good places for finding peer-reviewed articles. Now, a psychology database like PsycArticles that you see here, it might provide coverage of psychological aspects that you may be researching, such as in business, if you're looking for information about consumer motivation, then the PsycArticles database may be good for that as well. As far as legal issues that you may have to research, we have a couple of databases that are good for that. One is called Legal Track. In the L section, we'll find that. So Legal Track contains law journals and different things like that that can help you research that aspect. Also, we have Nexus Uni, and you may recognize that as LexisNexis, which that is related to that. Nexus Uni actually contains court cases, actual court cases, but it also contains business information as well. Now, another good database that you'll want to keep in your back pocket is the Dissertations and Theses Global Database. This database is a great one to find dissertations that may be related to the topic that you're researching. So if you want to find related dissertations to your own topic, then search in the Dissertations and Theses Global Database. Another database that can be helpful for doctoral students is the SAGE Research Methods database under the S section. So if you're looking for information about methodologies that you may want to use in your research, you can go to SAGE Research Methods, and it's going to give you all kinds of information about different types of research methodologies, different ways to research, and that kind of thing. Okay, so again, all these databases that I've talked about are listed within those slides for the presentation, so be sure and download those for future reference. All right, back over on the library homepage, we're going to talk a little bit more about searching within those, and especially about peer-reviewed articles. So the databases in the CSU library that include journal sources have a scholarly peer-reviewed limiter that you can use to quickly limit your results to peer-reviewed materials. And you can see that actually here on the Discovery search box. And so let's go into one of the other databases and take a look there as well. So we'll go back in there and we'll just go into ABI Informed Collection, and we're going to find the peer reviewed limiter there as well. So you can see right when you log into ABI Informed Collection, it does have a peer reviewed box there. Okay, so to search for peer reviewed articles, just type your keywords in the search box, and we're going to try an example search. And then you'll want to check the peer reviewed limiter. We'll go ahead and limit by date as well, so we're not getting quite so many different things. We want the newest information anyway. And once you have all that in there, your keywords, you've checked peer reviewed, whatever date you want. Let's do last 3 years instead of last 3 months. Then you can go ahead and hit the search button there. And that's going to take us to our search results. So you'll find the scholarly peer reviewed limiter on the main page, but you'll also find it in your search results. And you can see that it's located right here. Now, one thing to remember about scholarly peer-reviewed articles and checking that peer-reviewed limiter in the databases is that you actually will receive results from peer-reviewed journals, but not all articles contained within those peer-reviewed journals are research-based studies. In addition to research studies, and peer-reviewed journals also contain other types of articles, such as editorials and book reviews. So you will want to observe and analyze articles that you get when you use that peer-reviewed limiter to ensure that they are peer-reviewed studies. So let's take a look at one of those and just see. So we have a lot of results here, obviously over 8,000. We're just going to pick one and we're going to double check and make sure that it is actually a peer-reviewed study. So if we scroll down, let's go with this one here: Corporate Social Responsibility, Organizational Trust, and Commitment, a Moderated Mediation Model. Now, in ABI Informed Collection, you can click on the title and then access the full text, or you can click on any of these links here, the full text or full text PDF. We're just going to go ahead and click on the full text PDF, and that will take us straight into the article. So again, what we're looking to see if this article is actually a peer-reviewed research study. Okay, so you want to make sure that it does have an abstract, and this one does have an abstract. And then you'll want to look down and see if it has an introduction. And we see that it has an introduction. Notice that it has a lot of citations here. Okay, in peer-reviewed articles, you're going to see tons of information cited, so always be looking for those references. Now, if you keep scrolling down, there are other sections that can help you kind of figure out if it's a research-based study. That'll give you clues. One thing that I always look for is the methodology section. So we'll keep scrolling down and see if we see anything like that in here. And notice it does have a section on research methodology, and that's going to describe how the problem was studied. You'll also usually have a results section. And we see that's right here. Okay. You'll have a conclusion, or discussion section, sometimes it's called, that's going to explain the implications of the findings there. So if we keep scrolling down, we saw discussion. I'm going to see if there's actually one labeled conclusion. Okay, so there's not one that I saw labeled conclusion, but the discussion section would actually be that. Now, a peer-reviewed article will also have a lot of references at the end. Notice there are a ton of references here. Okay, so I think that we can safely say that this article is actually a peer-reviewed research study. So, but do double check every time you use those limiters. Remember that they're actually limiting to the entire journal, not just the one article. So you do have to double check on those. Okay, now one other thing, let me scroll back up here to the top. We're going to go back to our results. I wanted to point out to you is there is also a filter within all the databases for full text. Okay, and you can see that right here. Now, the full text limiter is going to automatically default in all the databases. So when you're searching, it's usually going to be defaulted to full text. And this will ensure that you can actually access the full text of the article here in the library. Now, sometimes though, as doctoral students, it's actually helpful to uncheck that full text. Even though you may not be able to access all the articles that you get through the library, when you uncheck that box, you can actually see more of what kind of research may be out there. And you may be able to access those articles in other places, okay? So let's just take a quick look. Right now we have 8,427 results. If we uncheck that, let's see how much it goes up. Notice how many more we have when we uncheck that, okay? And like I said, we wouldn't be able to access all those, but you can kind of see what's out there. Usually those will have the abstract link to it, maybe not the full article, but the abstract. So again, I would recommend just unchecking that to see what else is out there. Now, in the discovery search on the library homepage, if we did that and did a search there, it's not called full text. Once you go to the results, it's called at my library. So sometimes it's full text, sometimes it's at my library, but that's where you would find that limiter. Okay, now for on-demand instruction on finding peer-reviewed articles in the library, you can check out our video tutorials, which are located way down at the very bottom of the library homepage down here. So you click on video tutorials and then the video tutorials complete list. And if you scroll down in that list, there is a section just for doctoral students, and that's called doctoral resources. So those are some of the main tutorials that you may be interested in, but of course you're free to look at all of them. They may all be helpful for you, or many of them may be helpful for you as you're doing your research. Now, in addition to tutorials on finding the peer-reviewed articles, we do have those in here. We also have one on creating personal research folders in the library. We have others on Business Source Ultimate and ABI Informed Collection. So I linked a lot of those within the slides for this presentation, so do check those out when you get a chance. Okay, so it looks like we've gone over everything I wanted to show you here in the library today. But I want to see if anyone had questions.
Any questions for Laura? You can also come on mic if you'd rather speak it than text it.
I posted a question in, I don't know if it's for you, Laura, but I asked the references when we're researching throughout my time with CSU. Majority of my papers required no earlier than 5 years of references. So when we go through the dissertation process, when we're doing our literature review, is that still the standard, or what's the time frame of literature we're authorized to use?
I think that Dr. Burchell, that would probably be a question more for you. I don't know the exact one that you all require. I know that I try to help students get the most recent information, but I'm not sure of the exact requirement there.
Yeah, I suggest to my students that they go 4 years. And the reason for that is if you carry over into the next year, then you don't want to get into trouble with having 6-year-old sources. And throughout your dissertation, you should be doing periodic literature review, literature searches. in case something new just came out that you want to add into your lit review. So so yeah, does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Thank you, Laura,
All right, thank
very much for
you.
coming and presenting to us today. She graciously does this every 8 weeks on a Saturday. Let me ask you a question. Do you have, I know that at one point you had a recording of everything that you did today. Do you still have that in the library?
I do still have a recording of it. Yes. Would you like for me to send you that to you, Dr. Burchell? I don't have it handy at the moment, but I
Absolutely.
could pull it. Okay.
Okay, yes. We had a student asking for it, and
Okay.
I know we're doing recordings today, but those files can be quite large.
Right.
So if you could send it to us, that would be great, and I'll send it out to the students.
Absolutely, I will. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have a good day.
You too.
Okay,
Thank
now
you.
it is break. Now it is break time, and Dr. Whitaker will be next at 10:30 Central. So please take a break, and you can stay right here
Dr. Burchell,
and
can
take
I
a
add
break.
one quick
And
thing? Dr.
yes, go
Burchell,
ahead.
before they break, can I add one so that they don't lose topic? I do want to add, it's okay in your dissertation if you have a few articles, like for instance, if you had motivation theory or value theory or generational theory that goes back to 1994 or 1986 or 1950, because you are looking at something that supports your study. You just don't want to have the majority of it. So I always tell my students, if you find something that's seminal or foundational, you can include it. Make sure that you go to the original source, though. Don't go to the 2004 source. You go back to the original source. And I think the goal should be no more than 5 to 6% of your references should be older than 5 years. But I don't think that it's possible, if you really want to do a thorough lit review, to not have some references that are older than 5 years, because we're talking 2018 for us right now. So there are some things that you might need to include. You just would need to support why those are included and make a case for it. And then I think that would be better than not including them, because you should have that support. Does that make sense? Am I making sense, Dr. Burchell?
Absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up, because
I'm Christy.
we
We'll come
know
back to that
that,
later, but I
yes,
didn't want
we
them to
know
think
that
they could
100%.
never have an older article. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we know that 100% can't be current.
Right.
So, but it should be the majority. The
Yeah.
majority should be peer-reviewed articles. The majority should be within the last 4 years. And so there you go. Okay. All right. More later. Break time now. We'll see you back at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern time. Okay. I hope you had a good break. Dr. Whitaker is here with us, and she is going to be covering, where is my schedule?
I have the prospectus and finding the gap.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Okay. Everybody, please welcome Dr. Whitaker.
Hi, everyone. Can you see me? Am I there? Should see me in two. I'm going to share my screen and get started. Before I do, I just want to let you know that I am a chair for the doctoral program, as well as a lead for the organizational leadership department for our business. Also, I wanted to let you know that I am in this journey. I'm actually getting a second doctorate. I'm almost done. I'm so close, a couple months away. And I have actually experienced what you're experiencing, and that's been a real help as well as a chair. So yeah, thank you. I'm excited. I love this research. Dr. Burschel is my chair, actually, because I can't chair myself. And it's been really fun. I actually have really loved this second time around, I think even more. So for those of you who are really in love with research like we are, that might be something that you do as well. Anyway, I want to go ahead and share with you my screen, and then I'm going to take you on a journey. So a lot of times when we begin our journey, we are going to be looking at finding our topic and the gap and the prospectus overview. So what I like to tell people, I've got somebody else coming in here. When you are trying to find your research topic, a lot of times people will come in with a made up mind. They've seen a problem at work. They think that's what they want to study. They have an interest in something because it's what they work in. But the problem is, if you develop your research question and your research purpose before you know what's out there, you're reinventing the wheel. And it's much easier to start your journey by seeing what's out there. In other words, I don't want you to reinvent heart surgery. I just want you to add to it and tweak it. It's much easier. And also, too, if you find a survey or a study that has some future research recommended, the nice thing is you are not having to take a year to develop and validate and make sure that your own survey is reliable. You can utilize something that's published, get permission, and that's a quicker path towards your own study. Does that make sense to everyone? Dr. Burschel, is there anything I should add to that section of it? I can't hear her, but that's okay. I think she's nodding yes.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Let me pause you for just a second. So